Texas Tech students headed back to class a couple days late this week after a winter storm brought the South Plains area to a standstill. Coming up, we'll have a look at the storm and details on its impact here in the Hub City.
A group of Red Raiders recently took a trip across the country in hopes of bringing home another national championship. We'll have the details on the Texas Tech Pom Squad's results from the 2026 UDA Dance Team National Championship.
And the winter weather may have canceled many events here on campus, but Texas Tech Athletics has stayed on schedule as two top 25 teams continue to work their way through the Big 12. MCTV's Logan Lacy has the latest scores, highlights, and headlines in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Elene Khajishvili.
And I'm Reese Griffin. The South Plains area is still recovering after an historic winter storm dropped temperatures, brought in some much-needed precipitation, and caused widespread cancellations across the region.
The Texas Tech campus was also impacted by the storm, giving students a couple of snow days just 2 weeks after classes started for the spring semester. The winter storm started last Friday morning with freezing temperatures and moisture quickly moving across the southern United States. By Friday afternoon, travel concerns caused Texas Tech administrators to close the campus at noon. Later that evening, freezing precipitation began to fall and ice began to form on the roads. The Lubbock area mostly saw sleet on Saturday, but that changed Saturday evening as snow began to fall. The snow continued into Sunday, helping to transform Lubbock and the Texas Tech campus into a winter wonderland. On Sunday afternoon, most local school districts canceled classes on Monday, and the university eventually made the same decision. Roads continued to be a hazard into Monday night, leading to another cancellation on Tuesday. But by Wednesday, campus administrators decided to resume classes after a 10 a.m. delay.
Winter weather is not unusual here on the South Plains, but the recent storm came as a bit of a surprise after the Lubbock area experienced one of the warmest Decembers on record.
So how much snow actually fell and how cold did it get over the last 6 days? MCTV's weather specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us now with a look at the final numbers from the recent winter storm. Elisabeth?
Thanks, Lena. Well, after almost 4 days under freezing conditions, we saw quite a bit of snow and mixed sleet in as well here in Lubbock. So this 6.2 inches combines both the total of snow and sleet we saw here in Lubbock. All the way up in Littlefield, they saw up to 12 inches mixed of sleet and snow. So quite a difference, but here in Lubbock, it was pretty significant as far as sleet and snow goes. Last weekend, we actually set a couple of different records, daily records for snowfall totals. On Friday, we saw 0.8 inches of snow breaking a daily record, as well as Sunday 3.2 inches of snow, again breaking another daily record here in Lubbock. Well, Friday the high was 40 degrees, but that was in the early morning hours, and that actually dipped down as we head into late morning, early afternoon, hit a low of under freezing on Friday. Saturday, high of 13 degrees. That was the coldest temperature high-wise we saw this weekend. Sunday, high of 20, staying under freezing. Monday, high of 28, still hanging on under freezing. And then Tuesday, we finally saw above freezing temperatures. Low, though, still quite chilly. It will return to more normal temperatures as we head into this week. We hit about average seeing our first snowfall. Usually here in Lubbock, right around here, we see our first snowfall late December, mid to late January, and we saw it about right on time this year. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to Reese and Elena.
Thanks, Elizabeth. With the spring semester underway, the Texas Tech University system is continuing to celebrate a growth in enrollment heading into the second half of the decade. Last week, the TTU system announced a record enrollment of 65,912 students for the 2025-2026 school year. That number is made up of all the system's institutions, including the Texas Tech campus here in Lubbock, the TTU Health Science Center, Angelo State University, Midwestern State University, and the TTU HSC campus in El Paso. In the fall, Texas Tech officials sent out a press release stating that the Lubbock campus had achieved a new record enrollment of 42,272, marking the first time the university had more than 42,000 students taking classes in person and online. The main campus makes up for more than 60% of the total system enrollment, split between just under 34,000 undergraduate students and more than 8,200 students taking graduate courses. The spring 2026 enrollment information has not been released, but the official number is expected to be announced in February.
It's been a pretty quiet start to the spring semester here on campus, but several Texas Tech teams have been busy representing the red and black, including one group of Red Raiders who brought home a couple of national trophies. The Texas Tech Pom squad recently competed at the Universal Dance Association College Dance Team National Championship in Orlando, Florida. The event was held from January 16th through the 18th, and the Pom squad represented the university in both the Division 1A Pom and Jazz Team competitions. After a tough couple of days, both teams made it to the Sunday finals. The Jazz team went on first Sunday morning, and Pom finished up the Red Raiders' run at the national championship on Sunday afternoon. At the end of the day, the Jazz team brought home 4th place, and Pom came in second behind the University of Minnesota, losing by just 0.2 of a point. Even though they did not bring home the top prize, the Pom squad's second place finish is the highest placement the team has achieved in the UDA nationwide competition.
As we mentioned earlier, winter weather took over the South Plains to start the week, but conditions have already changed a bit since sub-freezing temperatures create an unexpected holiday for students.
So will we be seeing a repeat of any of the weekend's weather as we finish out the month? Chief Weather Specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us again with a look at what to expect from now into the first week of February in today's MCTV forecast. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Elena. Well, after a full week of almost no classes Monday, no classes Tuesday, delayed start Wednesday, we're finally back to a regular class schedule today. While it looks like most of the snow is melting, there is still ice on the sidewalks and the roads. So as you head out to class to do some errands, grocery shopping, if you've been in all weekend, be careful as you're driving and walking around campus. Well, we are seeing highs today of 57 as well as mostly sunny skies, so that's going to lead to moderate snow melting. We will still see patches of snow and ice here and there, but we'll see a majority of it melt today, but probably won't see it completely melt until later this weekend, even maybe early next week. As we take a look at our radar, remaining mostly clear for the rest of today. Saturday, we do have a chance of some fog, and that could be freezing fog as well with low temperatures. But that's going to clear out by later Saturday morning, leaving the rest of our weekend pretty clear as we head into next Monday as well as next Tuesday next week. Forecast lows for tonight, everyone in the South Plains seeing under 32 degrees, lower 20s in the northern South Plains off the Caprock, upper 20s. Pretty chilly night with partly cloudy skies as we head into tomorrow. A little bit warmer than today with highs in the upper 50s, lower 60s across the area and partly cloudy skies as well. Tonight here locally in Lubbock, low of 26. Tomorrow, high of 59, almost 60 degrees. That's almost 40-degree difference from our high just on Sunday, and partly cloudy skies as we head into tomorrow. Taking a look at our weekend, Saturday temperatures dipping down just a little bit, high of 43 degrees, which is nothing compared to what we saw this past weekend. Lows pretty chilly in the lower 20s. Sunday warming up back in the 60s with sunny skies, leaving us in the upper 60s on Monday, and then tapering down to lower to mid 60s for the rest of the week, leaving us with some more seasonable temperatures. Lows this weekend remaining chilly, so if you have nighttime plans, bundle up for those. But then as we head into next week, lows in the upper to mid 30s, dipping down below freezing as we head into later next week. So you might be able to shed the bigger jacket during the day, but you're going to want to bundle up if we're heading outside at nighttime. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to Elena and Reese.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Many students may have stayed inside to avoid the recent winter storm, but several groups of Red Raiders braved the conditions in hopes of improving their records and climbing in the national rankings.
MCTV's Logan Lacy has a wrap-up of the latest highlights and scores, along with a couple teams getting ready to start their seasons in sports. Logan?
Thank you, Reese and Elena. Texas Tech athletics has looked strong recently with some impressive wins and top 25 rankings. Basketball season is in the middle of conference play, while softball and baseball season is coming soon. And football picked up a couple of new players for next season. Let's start with men's basketball. The Red Raider men's basketball team is coming off of a huge Big 12 matchup versus the Houston Cougars. The game started out pretty even with both teams taking a couple of early leads, but Texas Tech was able to go up by 11 for the biggest lead of the game before Houston cut the lead to 6 by halftime. Coming out of the locker room, the game stayed pretty similar to the first half, with both teams fighting hard, but the Red Raiders ended up as the tougher team, with Texas Tech winning the game 90-86, as star forward JT Toppin finished the game with 31 points and 12 rebounds. Texas Tech men's basketball currently sits at second in the Big 12 with a 6-1 conference record and a 16-4 overall record, while being the number 11 team in the AP poll. The Red Raiders will travel to Orlando, Florida this weekend as they play the UCF Knights at Financial Arena. This game will be live on ESPN2 at 11 a.m. The Lady Raiders have been impressive this season with the number 21 ranking in the AP poll, but could their ranking bring them a win over the Iowa State Cyclones last night? The matchup began with the Iowa State taking a quick 6-point lead that they kept almost the whole quarter, with the Cyclones leading 26-18. The second quarter started similar as Iowa State was up by as much as 13, but Texas Tech stormed back, making it a 2-point game at the half. In the third quarter, the Cyclones got off to a hot start, taking an 11-point lead that the Lady Raiders could not come back from, ending the third with Iowa State leading 65-55. The fourth quarter was almost the same story, with Texas Tech not being able to fight back as the Lady Raiders lose this one 84-70. Texas Tech women's basketball is now 20-3 overall and has fallen to third in the conference. The Lady Raiders will be back in action Sunday versus number 12 ranked TCU at the United Supermarkets Arena at 1 p.m. If you can't make it to the game, it will be live on FS1. Texas Tech softball season doesn't start until next week, but they are already getting some recognition by the media. The Red Raiders are tied for first in the country in the preseason USA softball poll for the first time in program history, while also being named second in the country in the D1 preseason softball poll. Texas Tech has also been named the preseason number 1 Big 12 team, with Nigeri Kennedy, Maya Davis, Lauren Allred, Alana Johnson, Taylor Pinnell, Caitlin Terry, and Jazzy Burns being named to the preseason All-Big 12 team. The Red Raiders start their season next Thursday, February 5th versus McNeese State in Lake Charles, Louisiana at 6 p.m. Texas Tech baseball isn't currently ranked by any of the major polls, but a few of their players are getting some of their own recognition. Robin Villanueva, Logan Hughes, and Lincoln Garcia were all named as Perfect Game preseason top 100 players, with Logan Hughes also being named to the preseason Perfect Game All-Big 12 team. Red Raider baseball plays their first game on February 13th at Globe Life Field in Arlington at 11 a.m. versus the University of Oklahoma. Texas Tech football ended their season in a blowout loss, but they're hoping to come back swinging, landing some of the top players in the transfer portal. The Red Raiders signed many big-name talents, including Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati, Austin Romaine from Kansas State, Trey White from San Diego State University, Bryce Butler from Washington, Dante Lee Jr. from Liberty, and many more as Texas Tech looks to have an even better year in the 2026-27 season. That's all for Texas Tech Athletics. Now back to Elena and Reese.
Thanks, Logan. During the recent winter weather, many members of the Texas Tech community put their culinary skills to the test with home-cooked meals as they weathered the storm.
If you happen to whip up some family recipes that you think are worth passing on, one campus department is hoping you might be willing to share those tasty details in a special annual publication. The Office of Parent and Family Relations is currently looking for submissions to help create a Red Raider family cookbook. The cookbook will include a collection of family recipes sent in by the university community. Students and their families, along with staff, faculty, and alumni, are all invited to contribute to the future publication. Participants are asked to fill out a form including their information, the recipe, and a short story explaining why it means something to them. The final collection will then be made available to the university community. If you have a beloved family recipe that you would like to share, visit the link listed on your screen where you can submit all the information and pass on your culinary creations to fellow Red Raiders.
So Reese, do you have a special family recipe you might submit for the cookbook?
I do. I think I'm going to submit my mom's sopapilla cheesecake recipe.
That's awesome.
Do you?
I'm tempted to do so, but I might rethink my decision.
Understandable.
That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.